Welcome back to Mother Udder Farm, and welcome to the 2020 HOA Garden Tour. This is a collaboration with Homesteaders of America, and you should go check out all the other video links at the Homesteaders of America main video. Check out the link below and above. This garden is constructed in a unique way. It's got soil on the top, but underneath is straw. This is all organic straw and organic soil. And this is provided to us by the Rainey family on Homestead Rescue on Discovery Channel when we were on their show last season. And what this does is when the water soaks into the soil and down into the straw below, creating something like a sponge, this helps keep the soil moist, keeping the plants watered even in our drought-prone area. This space here was once a very steep hill, but when the Raineys came, they leveled this hill and made a garden out of it using timber that was harvested from our own property. What I'm standing on here are cedar logs that were downed by the power company when they cut the trees after the fire. These serve as a retaining wall to keep the soil in on the hillside. The fence keeps bears and deer out, while the chicken wire down below keeps smaller animals from jumping in. And the barbed wire above keeps larger animals from jumping over the fence and into our garden. In the back and the front of the garden, there are large gates that we already had on the land that are used to dump new soil or compost into the garden, and long heavy chains that prevent deer from jumping into the garden. It's still spring, so that means baby chicks, baby ducks, baby goats, no, baby plants. If you're just getting started on your garden, or if you're new to gardening, your garden might look a little bit like this. Well, this is where we are right now. We have planted quite a bit, actually. This is a pretty large garden. And what we've gotten in so far is our cold weather crops, some of the things that we've overwintered from the previous year, and cold weather crops that we planted by seed. What we haven't done yet is our warm weather crops. And you're probably wondering why. I mean, we are in California. We should have started a couple months ago, right? Well, that depends. Here in Northern California, we can start just about any time. Gardens are often planted direct seed. In fact, this is the first year we've ever had a greenhouse. We've been really busy. We've been spending our time delivering food to our community, which is still suffering from the campfire. So what you're going to see over the next few weeks and even months is us planting out all of these empty rows with 3 times more food than we have ever planted or grown on this property, so that we can continue to help our neighbors. So let me show you what we do have in the garden right now. We've planted tot soy. We've got a nice row of those going. Spinach. Got green onions. I'm going to pull out all the weeds here that have sprouted up in our leek bed.
So how do you tell the difference between a leek and a non-leek?
Well, it's a good question. Mostly experience. But if you are not sure, you can always take a little piece, like this one here is a little bit broken off. Chew it a little bit. Taste oniony. But when you've planted leeks in a bed, you're going to have rounded sprouts. versus these, which are flat-bladed like grass. All right, so we got leeks. We got regular onions over here. And right down here, we've got beets. Something's been eating my beets. I wonder if it's those ants. I've never known ants to eat beets before, but I guess they would.
What type of beets do we have?
We planted a whole bed of the red, of the yellow. We haven't finished planting the red. And over here, we've got our overwintered Swiss chard. We're collecting seeds this year. So we're overwintering some of these to collect some seeds. Kale is biennial. It can be grown through a couple of seasons. Spring, fall, winter. But summer is really tough. Grow some cool weather season crops during the summer, but it takes special care to do that. And when it starts getting warm, it starts to bolt, which isn't a bad thing. A lot of gardeners get upset when their crops start to bolt. But for those of us who collect seeds and save them, that's not a bad thing. So when crops start to bolt, you can allow them to go to seed and then save the seeds. And that's what we're doing with this kale here. Obviously, I don't want to save the seeds from smaller plants that were not good producing plants. So I'm going to take those plants out and I'm going to feed those to the chickens. But other plants that were better producing plants, I'm going to save those seeds. So if I look down here at this plant right here, it's still blooming and it hasn't set as many seeds as some of the other plants nearby. So you see not so many seeds on this plant. If you look at its neighbor here, it's starting to create these little pods on it. See the little pods on the end here? And these pods contain the seeds. So if I allow it to continue to develop this a little bit, then I can save those and dry them. And then I can plant this kale again next season and I don't have to buy the seeds. So that saves me money. I've got a couple of plants that are doing that here. And then I'm going to have tons of kale seeds, probably more than I can use, and plenty to share with the neighbors. That's what we're doing with the Swiss chard, and we're also doing that with our spinach. This is just a great way to make sure that your vegetable garden is sustainable. However, you can plant cold weather crops during the summer. It takes special care, especially in hot regions. We're in the mountains of Northern California, so it's a little cooler here. It's usually about 15 degrees cooler up here than it is down in the valley. But there's other things that you can do to make sure that your plants stay cool enough to continue to produce during hot weather, even if they're cold weather crops like brassicas, any kind of cabbage-related family, kale, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, and spinaches, lettuces. Those are not brassicas, but they are leafy greens. Any of the leafy greens. Also root vegetables, if you want to keep root vegetables producing during the summer. One of those things is to make sure that the soil stays really moist. Another is to grow heat-resistant cultivars. Plants that are grown specifically to resist heat are going to do better in your climate or during the summer. Plants that grow in cold weather do better with a little bit of shade. Make sure to mulch around the plants because the mulch will help keep the soil moist and the plants will stay cool. Both of these center rows will contain tomatoes. We plan to have about 60 feet, double rows of tomatoes on both sides. This row and the row next to it will be mostly squash. We also have beans going in that are going to shade the two rows on the right with our cold weather crops. We also have eggplants, peppers, and a host of other things going in. Our cold weather crops over here contain spinach, beets, tatsoi, bok choy, leeks, Swiss chard, kohlrabi, kale, 4 different varieties of kale, 4 different varieties of carrots, and a variety of different kinds of cauliflower and broccoli. We have over 85 kinds of plants going in this garden this year. So join us on this adventure with Homesteaders of America as we plant the biggest garden we have ever planted in our lives and see if we succeed or fail. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you can follow along on this adventure and many more with Homesteaders of America. And you should check This is a collaboration with Homesteaders of America, and you should check out all the other. This is a collaboration with Homesteaders of America, and you should check out. This is a collaboration, and you should check out all the other videos at the Homesteaders of America.
Oh my gosh, Jazz.
I'm gonna slow down now.
Good.